want to see if you can tell me what is written on this piece of paper.
God is nowhere.
Have a look again.
God is now here.
So what is it? Is it God is nowhere or God is now here?
Music and life to the full. xRhythms.
What evidence do we have of God's existence?
That's a great question, and it's a question that we get asked all the time. What evidence is there for God? Well, I always ask people the question, what evidence would you accept for God? The Bible speaks of God in terms of a supernatural creator, an all-powerful intelligence. So what evidence would you accept for an all-powerful creator, full of infinite knowledge, infinite in wisdom? Many of the young people will probably be aware of Mount Rushmore. I believe it's in South Dakota. You know, the president's heads that have been carved carefully into the mountainside there at Mount Rushmore. Well, if I said to you that the president's heads came about there on Mount Rushmore through millions of years of wind and rain erosion on the mountain, you know, you would never believe me. In fact, that would be an insult to the person who took the time. I think it took, 14 years or something, 14 or 15 years for the sculptor Gutzon Borglum to sculpt those 4 president heads into the mountainside there at Mount Rushmore. How much more of an insult is it when we look and say, what evidence is there for an all, you know, there's a creation out there. And so when we look at the world around us, Alexander, when we ask that question, what evidence is there of God? The Bible tells us creation bears witness to the glory of God. Creation bears witness to God. And so if we're looking for evidence, just look at creation because it testifies of a creator.
We spoke about quite a few topics in this interview so far, and if you could say one thing to a viewer that's watching this video right now, what would it be?
Well, that would be based upon if they're a Christian or they're not a Christian. If they're not a Christian, they can just think about some of the things that we've already talked about. The last example I talked about was the evidence of God. If you're asking that question, is there a God? Well, again, just look at the created world around you and ask that question. Look at the creation. In fact, if you want to know more about that creator, well, he's given us a book, the Bible.
For all our viewers who are watching, where can we view more information about your work? And you prepared?
Yeah, I came prepared. Well, you can go to, we've got a website, Alexander, answersandgenesis.org, answersandgenesis.org. And so if our viewers want to go there, and they'll have lots of questions, because you can never answer all the questions in the short amount of time. You can go there, put your question into the search engine, and you'll find lots of articles written that will be able to help you answer your questions regarding creation, evolution, and those things. In fact, we even do some what we call pocket guides, which are just short booklets on the information on dinosaurs, for example. These are made especially for young people. They're £2, so you can get them from our store fairly cheap. And if you want to dig further into dinosaurs, we've got one on dinosaurs. We've got one on best evidence. What's the best evidence for creation? What's the best evidence that the world isn't millions of years old? There's a number of examples from science that will confirm that the world isn't millions and billions of years old. And then we've got a booklet on logic and faith. Logic and faith. You know, many people today will say that the Christian faith doesn't have anything to do with science, but actually when you look into the history of science, science came out of the Christian faith. Modern science, just about all modern scientists were Christians, okay? And so the Bible tells us to use our minds, to love God with all our heart, soul, and mind. So you can pick up some of those resources at the ministry, or even just, type your question into the search answers on answersandgenesis.org, and that'll help you deal with many of the common questions we get in today's world.
And you guys have a YouTube channel as well.
We've got a YouTube channel. Just put Answers in Genesis into YouTube, and you'll find lots of different videos on the YouTube channel. Again, that deal with these common questions. We also have a streaming service, answers.tv. So a lot of our videos are up on there. There's a lot of different science programs and lectures and talks and things for young people on there that will help you answer a lot of these common questions that we've been asked today.
I'd like to thank you, Simon, for taking this time out of your schedule to do this, and I hope that the viewers today take something from it and find the answers to the questions that they're really looking for. And that's the end of this, and as always, guys, this is me, Alexander, signing out.